here in just 1 second. So hold on, and we're going to go from the beginning. Okay, so what we're doing is we are also broadcasting live on Facebook. So if you are on Facebook and you want to watch that, you are welcome to do so. Let me see what we have here. Ooh, we have a bunch of people on. Yay. Okay. Hi, everybody. Let's see. Let's do this. If you can hear me and you can see my screen, both of those things, then I want you to raise your hand. You know how to do that? Ooh, I see hands raised. Awesome. This is working good. Okay. So you can see my screen. That's totally cool. Awesome. I'm going to hit escape for 1 second and see if we can make this correct. Of course not. Okay, well, we will go back to our little PowerPoint here from the beginning. Okay, so today we are going to talk home care, online marketing, and caregiver recruiting. We are using a platform today called Zoom, and I have never used Zoom before. So one of the things that we're going to do is we are going to make sure we are recording this. Pause recording, stop recording. Okay, looks like we are recording. We are live streaming. Awesome, awesome. Okay, now let's do QA. Okay, so in your little dashboard there, because there are so many people on these webinars, we typically do not open up the phone line so we can hear everybody's stuff. You can just hear me. But what we're going to do is we're going to take questions. So in your little questions pane there, you can ask a question. You can ask it anonymously. You can ask it with your name, whatever you want to do. So if I cover a topic or a slide that you have questions on, don't wait till the end to type in your questions. Just go ahead and type them in. I probably won't take questions till the end, but that's okay. So we are, okay, so annotate, pause, share. I think we're good. Okay, let me just do this. Lower all hands. All right, I lowered all the hands. Ooh, I'm very excited. Let's see if, I'm trying to see who's on here. Okay, anyway, doesn't matter. All right, let's get into it. Home care, online marketing, and caregiver recruiting. So what my ad said was, are you tired and stressed out about this whole recruiting thing? Because most of the clients that we have are totally worn out with this recruiting stuff and have been for a very long time. So challenges for home care agencies and senior care providers. And it doesn't matter if you're a nursing home, assisted living facility, home care agency, typically home health, private duty, everybody has these challenges in the senior care market. So we've been in, this is Valerie VanBooven, by the way, for those of you who don't know who I am. And LTC Expert Publications has been in the business of online marketing specifically for home care, but we also do it for assisted living and a few other, geriatric care managers and a few other folks thrown in there. But 90% of our clients are home care agencies. And we've been doing online marketing for them for years and years. And for all of those years, I've always known how challenging it is to recruit caregivers, good caregivers, quality caregivers. It's a challenge to get them to show up. I mean, it's just, ugh. So we had this crazy idea a few months ago that maybe we could help our private clients with recruiting. Because we're pretty good at this online advertising stuff. So why wouldn't we use it to recruit some caregivers? And we've been asked to do that several times. So we went down this road of a beta test. And out of that beta test came a lot of education for us and a lot of new products and services because we're fairly, I guess, sort of malleable and we're not stuck in one format of recruiting. As a lot of us are, having done this for years and years and years, we kind of figured out a few cool things. So I'm going to go through a few things you know and a few things you haven't heard of yet. And at the end, if it's something that piques your interest, you have to let me know. So challenges right now, spending too much money on recruiting ads and services for very little return on investment. Follow-up is time-consuming and never-ending. Not being able to communicate well with potential applicants via email or phone call. The caregivers do not answer voicemail. They do not email you back. In fact, some of them do not have their voicemail set up on their phone. Imagine that. Applications on websites are not being filled out. Potential new hires are not showing up for a scheduled interview. Potential new hires never bring on all their paperwork. Potential new hires simply do not qualify. They have no car, no license, no certification. They live outside of your service area, but they still express interest for some odd reason. They have a felony conviction or more. And some of you are in rural office locations with less resources and less applicants, having a hard time finding candidates. So these are all the things, and I'm sure there are more, I haven't even hit on all of them, that people are expressing to us. Somebody asked, will I talk about recruiting for adult foster care facilities? And just so you know, this kind of applies to all senior care services. So no matter what business you're in, home care, assisted living, nursing home, adult foster care, care homes, whatever it is, this applies to you. I know all these things are extremely frustrating. So one of the questions we have to ask ourselves and learn over the last few months are, what challenges can we tackle for our clients or for you out there? And what can we not tackle? What are things that are beyond our control? So we have found out now that based on the way we advertise and the way we reach out to candidates, that we can decrease the cost of ads and man hours on the front end. So ads meaning, you got your Indeed, your ZipRecruiter, your Monster, your Career Builder, you got your Craigslist, you got all kinds of stuff. We can decrease the cost of that on the front end and man hours on the front end. So if you have one person that's dedicated to HR, to recruiting, to calling people and getting them to come in for interviews, we can help decrease the amount of time they're spending doing that and managing ads and renewing stuff and paying attention to all the different parts and pieces of this whole mess. We are able to triage applicants who do not qualify before they ever reach your office. So in other words, if they don't have a car, if they don't have the certification, if they don't have any of those things, before you pick up the phone and try to call them, before you do any of that, we can pre-qualify them a little bit. It doesn't mean they're going to tell the truth sometimes, and it doesn't mean that we always, that they're always giving us an accurate answer or whatever. But for the most part, we can triage the applicants as long as they're being honest with their skill set and their certifications and their ability to get around town with reliable transportation and all that. We can do that triaging. Communication issues can be overcome in many cases. So I'm going to talk about that a lot later, but there are some other options for communication that you may not have thought of, or you may have thought of, but it didn't go well. Following up in different ways with potential applicants who are no-call, no-show for interviews. So there are always opportunities to follow up with people who do not show up or are no-call, no-show for interviews. And that is probably one of the biggest challenges, and one that boggles my mind, is why someone would set an appointment for an interview and then not show up. But if we follow up in different ways and take a different approach, we can overcome some of that. Setting interview appointments or applications in person for the HR person. Now, what if, all those interview appointments and in-person application appointments could just be set up? Now, I realize we are not the first people to ever think of all these things and be able to affect all these things. And we're not the first set of people who have ever gone down this road of doing a little recruiting. I kind of would call it a side job for us. There are reputable companies out there that do this every day. They charge a lot of money for this service, and rightfully so, because this is a tough job. But these are the challenges we can tackle right now. We can work on them. It doesn't mean we're going to get through all of them all the time, but we can tackle those. These are the things that are out of our control. These are still pieces of the human element that we cannot make happen. We can't force anyone's hand. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? So showing up for interviews. I put my little comment. This is what's going on in my brain. Really? Can I call you an Uber? Can't get there. Don't show up. Don't call, or just call and cancel 5 minutes before, even the night before. But not showing up for interviews is a huge issue. Turning in their paperwork. And my little brain says, can I come to your house and find it? Because I bet I can. Anyway, turning in paperwork. So you get somebody through the application process. They still need to bring in their certification or their CPR card or their physical or whatever it is before they can start. And they don't ever bring it in. So you can't give them any hours. And then maybe they're hired and they turn in all their paperwork, but they don't take any hours. So you offer them, hey, I've got a shift here, I've got a need here. And they never take any hours. So I guess money wasn't really an issue for them. So it's still challenging to overcome these. And this is some of the pieces that we can't control, but we can make them a little better. So here's what we found works really well. And I'll talk about advertising and some of the things that we do as we go along here. But first of all, we have a preliminary discussion with our home care agency regarding their needs and their challenges. Each one of you in a different geography, with a different set of demographics in your local area, you all have challenges that are unique to you. So it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of a program. There's no way that somebody in San Mateo, California is going to be have the same challenges and problems as somebody in New York City. Completely different issues. Home care agency stops all advertising for caregivers. So what we also found is that when we implement a program, we want the home care agency or whoever it is, whatever senior care service we're working for, to stop all their advertising. We want to take control of that advertising, and we want to be the only source of advertising for the time period that you're signed up with us, because we advertise in a lot of places and we don't want any duplicate ads out there. Now, anything you're kind of doing internally with referral bonuses and things, if you ever do that, that's all fine. But turn off the Indeed.com ads, turn off any other ads that you're doing. Let us handle it and let us absorb the cost of it. Make it our responsibility to keep those costs low, not your responsibility. So let us do it. We'll absorb the cost of that advertising. So we start advertising on all kinds of different platforms. Now, a lot of you out there are using Indeed.com, and I've heard that many times. I have a few opinions on that. Indeed's not a horrible place to go, but I also know that based on our trying that in the very beginning, I can tell you right now we don't use Indeed directly. And that's because, it's not to say that we wouldn't, but we don't right now, because what I see is a lot of people filling out forms on Indeed.com who never are going to answer you. They have no intention. They're trying to satisfy some kind of unemployment requirement that says that they've applied for so many jobs every week, and they take a screenshot of it or a picture of it, or they prove it somehow. I don't know what that is, but they apply for a certain amount of jobs, and if they don't get them, they continue to receive their unemployment. That is what is happening. It happens all the time in all different platforms, but Indeed tends to be the biggest offender for people just filling out forms and never responding any other way. So we use a bunch of different platforms. Facebook advertising is one of them. And it's not what you think it is. So a lot of folks we see will just slap a picture up there on their Facebook business page, and they'll say, hey, we're hiring. And that's okay, and they'll maybe even boost that post to a bunch of places, have their phone number in there, and they may get a few calls. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it's nothing compared to a very dedicated lead ad form that we generate with a video. Video is where it's at for Facebook. A very short 15-second video that highlights the opportunity and the advantages of working for you. We do that. We absorb the cost. We make the video belongs to you, but we make it for you. We put the Facebook ads up. We generate all that. We run all those things. So whether it's ZipRecruiter or Craigslist or Facebook ads or any other platform that we might use out there, all those things fall under us. We absorb the cost of that advertising, and we send candidates to you. So we triage those candidates. We make sure, to the best of our ability, assuming everyone's truthful in their answers, that the folks that are applying for the jobs have the qualifications that you require, They may, and everybody's different. So they may need to have their CNA or their CHHA or their HHA, or maybe they can just be a caregiver. Maybe they don't have to have any certification. It depends on you, your state. It depends on the rules and regulations that you have to follow. We follow what you follow. So you tell us what those requirements are, and we make sure they're adhered to. They have to have a car. They don't have to have a car. You know, if you're in New York City, the caregivers probably don't have cars. But if you're in West Winnemucca, Nevada, everybody has to have a car or a horse. So you have to make sure that you send us the information we need to get you the right candidates, and that's what we put in all of our advertising. And then, of course, the fifth element of our program that we found works the best, aside from the advertising and all of the discussion about your needs and doing the ads the way you want them, is to modify the process as needed based on the feedback from you. So let's say we're sending you some candidates and you're starting to find that maybe they are outside of your service area. Well, if they're outside of your service area, then we need to modify what we're doing. So we will modify our program to meet your needs, to get people closer to your service area. So the first week or two, we're talking back and forth and, together as a team to try and make sure we're reaching the right people. So that's what we have found. These are the parts and pieces that we have found work the very best. But then we came across something that was a little bit of a secret sauce. And there are lots and lots of variations of this on the market. And many of them are super expensive. Like you wouldn't implement one of these unless you're McDonald's or Whole Foods or, some other kind of crazy other Fortune 100, 500 business. But we found one that is not as expensive, that's in sort of its very beginning phases, and it works really well. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that secret sauce here and show you how it works and show you what we found makes recruiting a whole lot better. And that is two-way texting and a manageable database for all of your candidates that are coming in through ads. So when I say two-way texting, many of you will think of it as picking up your on-call phone and texting someone from an ad, but that is not what we're talking about here. So what happens is we place your job recruiting ads all over the internet. We've talked about that. And we use many different sources depending on your needs. We've talked about that. Each ad we place, when you use the secret sauce version, each ad we place starts with the option for the caregiver or the potential caregiver. Sorry, we have a little bit of noise here. Let's just make that go away. Current slide. There we go. Okay, so each ad we place starts with the option for the caregiver or potential caregiver to text with us, to text back and forth, because as you all probably know, the generation that we're dealing with, or the folks that we're dealing with here, like to text back and forth. They like that. And that is probably, not for everyone, but for a majority of the people you're talking to, that is their preferred method of communication. For all of us old people in the audience, I'm 46 years old, I'm not really old, but I can tell you that this also boggles my mind. But they like it. So let's go where everybody wants to play, and that is the texting world. So we put in every ad that we place on the internet for you, we put this sentence, something like this: for immediate job opportunities, text START to 333-333-333. Now, that is not the phone number that we use. You are assigned a local phone number just for this purpose. So we provide the phone number. It is one that appears local to you. So if you are in San Mateo, California, it's a San Mateo exchange. If you are in New York City, it is a New York City area code, etc. So you get your own phone number for this purpose. You do not need a phone. You just need a phone number. So we give that to you. And the next question is, do all of the candidates text in for immediate job opportunities? So when you place those ads, Valerie, do all the people that see them go ahead and text START to whatever the phone number is for our agency? And the answer is no, they don't. They don't do it. They fill out forms, on their mobile phone. And remember, these people are not going to go to your website and fill out a long, insane form that asks them every question about their life since they were born. They're not going to do it. They're on a smartphone. And they're probably not on an iPhone, 7 Plus S or whatever it is. They're probably on something small, and they just want to get the questions answered quickly. So if you are redirecting people in your ads to a gigantic form that lies on somebody's website or on your own website, you're not going to get the response you need. So these people are on a mobile device. They have the option to text in. Most of them, I will say this right now, will not do that. Some of them will. They'll text right away. They'll text the word start, and boom, the whole conversation starts, and I'll tell you how that works in a minute. But they also have the option to fill out a very brief form that asks some simple pre-qualifying questions. So they don't have to text in order to use the system that we've implemented. It's just an addition. It's a secret sauce. So there are always 2 or 3 ways for the caregiver, the potential caregiver, to communicate with us and with you. We don't limit it to just texting, but this really helps. So where do you see all of the back and forth texting and the forms, and where can I, if home care agency owner is saying to themselves, okay, so if I'm your client, where do I go to see all this stuff? Well, we have it all in one place, and it sort of depends on the kind of program you implement with us, but either way, it's all in one place. It's not on your cell phone, it's not on your on-call phone or something unmanageable. If you have the secret sauce portion, it's all on your desktop, and it's in the cloud, and it's accessible from anywhere. So what happens is, no matter how those candidates come in, we want to put them into a database or a form that you can see from wherever you are. And you can know if they've been texting back and forth, and you can sort them. And I'm going to show you a couple of screenshots in just a second. Oh, and there it is. Dun, dun, dun. There's the secret sauce database and texting platform. So if you look at this closely, and I did block out some pertinent information, you can see that these are all people who answered an online ad. And this was taken today. So you can see that some of them are 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, 22 hours ago, 14 hours ago, blah, blah, blah. And you can see that you can see their names, you can see their stage, which is the second column here, or third column, I guess. So you can see if they're scheduled. If they don't qualify, that's a not now. If they canceled their interview, if they're still in the potential phase, or whatever. You can see the source that they came from. So you can tell if they're an online ad, a Facebook ad, or whatever. We tell you, and we have more sources here. So I covered some of that up because it's our little thing that we figured out. But when you're our client, you can see all of that. And then it'll tell you when was the last time they actually texted with you. So was it an hour ago, or the last time the system saw them? And then the first time the system ever saw them, it'll tell you. So you have a lot of data here. But then, ding, 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 I want to sort, and I want to find out how many people I actually, from this system, and you can see right up here, 44 candidates. This is a brand new client that just signed on with us. They have 9 scheduled interviews. So the system has chatted or texted back and forth with these candidates. And now you can see that I've sorted over here under candidate attributions, I've sorted it by who is scheduled to actually come in for an interview. And you can see these 9 are scheduled. I think there's a duplicate in here for some reason. But anyway, and you can see the source still, last seen and first seen. So I can sort by any one of these pieces right here. And I can also send them a bulk text. So if I wanted to, I could take all of these people right here and send them a message right now. Send them a short message that says, hey, just a reminder, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And don't forget, here's our address or whatever. So I can communicate by text with these people anytime I want. If I don't want to text them, I don't have to. But these people are the ones that are actually scheduled right now. So who is texting or chatting with the prospect? In other words, as a home care agency owner or as the person doing the HR stuff, am I going to have to sit in front of the screen and text back and forth with people all day? And the answer is no. A text bot, a bot that is programmed is chatting or texting back and forth with these people on their cell phones. So you don't have to do that. You need to get involved at some point, but it'll take, and I'm going to show you a screenshot so you'll see all of this. It'll take them through all the preliminary questions, so you don't have to be the one that's sitting there asking them, well, do you have your CNA? Do you have a car? Do you have, You don't have to do that. So the bot is programmed to ask questions, and you decide what those questions are. There's some, standard questions already in the system, but when we talk on the phone and we do consultation about the program, we figure out what are the most important questions for you. We educate you, you educate us, and we put those questions into that format. The bot is programmed to answer the potential candidate based on the candidate's response. So in other words, if they're not qualified, so the bot may say, are you a CNA? And if they say, no, I'm not a CNA, then the bot will say, okay, well, thank you for communicating with us. When you have your CNA, please reach out and let us know. If they are qualified, if they say, yes, I am a CNA, and yes, I have a car, and yes, I have a driver's license, and whatever, then the bot will continue and it'll ask them if they'd like to go ahead and schedule an interview. So what does the agency need to do? All you have to do is monitor it, follow up with them, maybe confirm their appointment, and you're doing this all online. You're not picking up your on-call phone and trying to text people. You're not trying to use your personal cell phone. You can see it on the screen. You can see who you've texted. You can see what their responses are, and you know that they're scheduled to come in. So this is all done in an automated fashion. So this is a look at what it looks like when somebody is talking with the bot in real time. So this is the very beginning of a conversation with this potential client. And you can see this is right at home. We understand you're looking for a job. To get started, please reply to this note by texting the word START. That's the first text that person received. So you can see the person did. They texted START. And then the bot begins. After it gets the word START, the whole process begins. Hi there, this is right at home of Media PA. You want to join us? Are you certified? This person said yes. They answered B if you look at the very bottom, meaning yes, I'm an HHA. Fantastic, HHAs are awesome. Now I couldn't screenshot every single question, but there are some things that I want to show you here. So over here on the right-hand side, this conversation was actually already finished when I took screenshots of it. You can see the tags that were applied to this person. They have 1 to 5 years experience. They'd like some AM shifts. They have their driver's license and their HHA. They'd like to interview on Monday, which is this coming Monday, in the morning. They do not want any live-in shifts. They do have personal transportation, and they've already had their skin and TB tests completed. And then there's their location, 19143. Now, I can add some notes in here if I want, or the person at Right at Home can add some notes in. And this person is considered, here's the stage, they were screened at this point. So if you look at the next screen, this is the end of the conversation. So it says, great, we'll see you Monday. What time would you like to come in? Now remember, this is the bot talking to this person. This is not me. This is not anybody at the home care agency. This is the bot asking them these questions. And these are the questions, having had conversations with this client, these are the questions that they wanted to have answered. So it says, okay, great, we're all set. Here's a link and directions to our office. So there's the directions to the office, and it reminds them what they need to bring: driver's license, social security, certifications, 2-step TB, background check, proof of Pennsylvania residency, any work references, blah, 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 and ask for Tanisha. Okay, and so, and then so then the system, it's changed to scheduled. This person is not just screened, they are now scheduled. So when I decide to sort my candidates, I can sort them by stage, and I can see all the people that are scheduled, and then I can look at their conversations and mark down on on my calendar what day they're scheduled to come in. Once I know what day they're scheduled to come in, I can send a message right down here at the bottom. I can send another message and say, hey, don't forget, we have you down for Monday. Don't forget to bring your driver's license, social security, certifications. We look forward to seeing you. If you have trouble with directions, let me know. And that just reminds them and helps them remember that they need to bring their information and they need to show up for the interview. Now, will this person show up for the interview? I have no idea. On Monday, we'll find out. But this all looks very promising so far. So the secret sauce is an online web-based two-way texting system. The candidate initiates a conversation by texting start to a local phone number, which we provide. An intelligent bot asks the candidate a series of qualifying questions, and if qualified, that candidate is asked to schedule a time for an interview. The agency, that's you, can keep track of texting candidates by using the app daily and by exporting candidates to a spreadsheet, or you don't have to export them at all if you don't want to. And the agency can upload old prospects and reestablish communication with them by sending a bulk text about position availability. So here's the piece I want you to know that we didn't show you, or you can't show you because it's not in real time, is that you can take, let's say you have 100 candidates or old employees that either didn't turn in their paperwork, or they never, or maybe they worked for you a long time ago and you'd like to see if they're available now. So let's say you have 100 of those people, and you can take those and upload their full name and their phone number to this database. And then you can say pick 20 a week and text those 20 people, because you don't want to text 100 at a time. You'll never be able to keep up. But you can text 20 people and say, hi, this is ABC Home Care in West Winnemucca, Nevada, and we have some job openings, and we're wondering if you'd be interested in learning more. If you are, please reply by texting START. START is the key word. If they reply and they text START, actually no matter what they reply with, you can see the reply text. But if they text the word START in response to that little message you just sent out, then the bot will take over and it will start asking them that series of questions. So, you don't have to sit there and wait or watch or anything like that. You can just know that if you log in a couple times a day, you'll be able to see where people are, where they left off, and if there's anything you need to do to follow up with them, and who is actually scheduled for an interview. We provide training and setup for this, so you don't have to know how to do it or learn how to do it by yourself. There's a whole team of people that can get you set up and answer any questions. So agencies or senior care providers who benefit from this model are the following. They have 1 or 2 people on their staff dedicated to hiring and interviewing. So if you're an agency who has enough staff where you know that you have 1 or 2 people that are dedicated to this, and they work in your office every day, then you would be someone who would benefit from this. And those people who are open to new ideas and changes in some of their practices, which we have heard is refreshing because this is a very tough job. And it's, gets kind of monotonous sometimes, especially when people aren't showing up for interviews. So you have to be open to change, and you have to be open to, and it's not a huge change, it's just a different way of communicating if you add that secret sauce piece in there. But also, it's a little bit refreshing because it's a new way of trying to approach this really difficult job. This is also for an agency who is already spending over $500 a month on a combination of online ads and in-house man hours to do the HR portion of the phone calls, interviews, and paperwork. It wouldn't make sense for you to do our program if you're spending $20 a month on recruiting and you're having a good result. This is for people who are established home care agencies or established senior care providers who know between ads and man hours they're spending at least $500 a month on this stuff. And the agency that's looking for a large volume of interested candidates in order to get the right new hire. So agencies and senior care providers who benefit from this model would meet these 4 criteria. What are your real recruiting costs? And I think that sometimes we don't really get down to the nuts and bolts of this. And what we want you to know more about is your cost per hire. Your cost per hire is your CPH, is the amount spent on recruiting a new caregiver. And it varies depending on the skills, the position type, the level, the market demand, the geographic region, and so on. So I can't tell you what your cost per hire is. You'll have to figure that one out because in New York City, it's going to be a lot different from West Winnemucca, Nevada. So your cost per hire is your external costs plus your internal costs divided by the number of hires. So external costs are the recruitment expenses incurred outside your physical location, and most of those are going to be advertising costs. Your internal costs include in-house recruiting staff, so those folks that are doing all the interviews and the paperwork and all that. Management, office work, and training, the training of new hires. If the recruitment is conducted by your employee, the time the person dedicates to the recruitment is your internal cost. So hourly wage times their hours. The most popular solution these days for recruiting is a hybrid one, and that's where we come in. This is for folks who want a hybrid one, and our objective is to decrease this number for you. We want to decrease the amount you're spending on recruiting overall. So we want to be able to get the advertising down to a reasonable cost because we're absorbing it. We want to make sure that you're getting the most qualified candidates in your system that we can possibly get you, and in as many as we can possibly get you. We want to triage them before they get to you so that you're not wasting your time on people who don't have cars or don't have their CNA or whatever it is that they have to have. We want to triage those people in advance for you. And then for the communication piece, we want to make it easier for you to communicate. Let me see if I have any. I only have 2 questions, so if you guys have any more questions, be sure to type those in. And there's a little Q&A panel there. Okay, all right. So we have 2 pricing options. And remember, you have to know what your cost per hire is in order to know if this is right for you. The 2 pricing options are this. We have a basic program. The basic program does not include the secret sauce stuff. I'll get to that. It's our preliminary discussion and consultation. You stop all outside advertising. You send us your job description with all of the, deal breakers. They have to have their CNA. They have to have a driver's license, all that stuff. We create the ads. We post and manage all advertising. We do the videos. We do the Facebook ads. We do by zip code. We do it by radius. We do whatever we need to do to get those folks to you. And we absorb all that cost. We triage the applicant. So you don't see an applicant unless they have actually answered all the right questions the right way. We send them to you via Google Sheets or Excel daily for follow-up and interview scheduling. This is a $495 setup fee and $495 per month. We only ask that you commit to 2 months because 60 days flies by really fast. And we want to make sure that, and usually what happens is when you sign up, we charge the setup fee, but it's a couple weeks before we actually start that monthly fee because we need time to get the ad set up and the videos created and all that. So it takes us about 2 weeks. When we're ready to turn our portion on, then we tell you to turn your advertising off. We don't have you turn it off for 2 weeks with no results. We have a big conversation about this before any of it begins. So you don't have to worry. We get everything scheduled correctly. After 2 months, it's month to month. Now, a lot of our clients that have tried this in our beta format have stayed with us. They really like this basic program. They want to offload that front end issue of managing ads, managing people, triaging the people. They want to get rid of that. And like I said, we still can't make them show up for the interview, but we can do a darn good job of trying. So after 2 months, it's month to month. You can cancel at any time. No text bot or database is provided for this. This is all via Google Sheets or spreadsheets. So that's our basic program. We've been doing this for about 6 months now, and clients who are in it love it. Love it. Option 2 is our enhanced program. We added this on a few months ago, and of course, I'm in love with it. But that doesn't mean everybody needs it. So same rules apply. Preliminary discussion, stop all outside advertising, send us your job description, we create the ads, we absorb the costs, we triage the applicants, and then we add this on. We set up the two-way texting and manageable database system. Candidate initiates the conversation by texting start to a local phone number that's assigned to you and you only. The intelligent bot asks candidates a series of qualifying questions. If qualified, candidate is asked to schedule a time for an interview. And of course, we discuss with you what you want that to be before we ever let the bot loose. Agency can keep track of texting candidates by using the app daily and by exporting them. If you want to, you don't have to. Agency can upload old prospects and reestablish communication with them by sending a bulk text about position availability. So you can take those 50 people that in the last 6 months never turned in their paperwork or whatever it was about them that didn't go through. As long as they are qualifiers, you can put them in the system and send them out a text and say, hey, do you want to, are you interested in knowing more about positions we have available? We provide all the training. In this case, it's a $620 setup fee and $620 a month per month for a 2-month commitment. Same rules apply. After 2 months, it's month to month until cancellation. So either of these programs are available to you. I personally like the enhanced program because I think it's a better way to communicate. I think that texting takes away a lot of barriers in communication. These people always text. They're on their phones all day long. So they're much more likely to converse with you this way than they are through email or for a voicemail. And they don't even have their voicemail set up. So that is the information on our experience on caregiver recruiting and what is helping today. Now, I will tell you that I have looked at a lot of different systems, and although some of you are in some programs that have one-way texting, that does not solve the problem. We also have seen some very expensive programs out there that include none of this. None of the preliminary stuff, none of the front-end offloading. They are all text-based. You can get, text back and forth with somebody for $50 a month, but the reality is none of the other stuff that really matters with that exists. So it doesn't solve your problem. It just gives you, you're spending $50 a month to text one person at a time. So this is not as expensive as a majority of the other systems we have looked at that are similar to this, and some of them don't even offer the texting at all, and they're still more expensive than this. So let's answer a few questions. Will you talk about recruiting for adult foster care facilities? I answered that live. I'm answering that live, and that is that this is, kind of for everybody. What is your opinion of my CNA jobs? Well, you know what? I love the folks at my CNA jobs, and doggone it, this is a really tough job. And I have no problem with my CNA jobs. If it works for you, by golly, use it, use it, use it. We have had people say they use it and they're fine with it. We've had other people say they don't want to use it, or they've used it for a year and it hasn't worked for them. It could be geography. It could be a whole host of other things. We've had people tell us that they've had the personal interview stuff done and it didn't work for them, and it was more expensive than what we charge. It's all over the map. And I know the folks at my CNA jobs do the very best they can, and they have taken on a huge and very tough issue. We do not intend to replace them at all. This is kind of a boutique little solution that we will probably limit to, 10, 20, 30 clients. It depends. We've had as many as 10 in it and done a great job, but we'll probably have to cut ourselves off at say 30 for a while. And ramp up. So, it's sort of first come, first serve for us, whereas my CNA jobs is kind of geared for anybody. But as to the effectiveness, I can't speak to that because everybody's in a different situation. Is this available in Canada? Harry, is this available in Canada? I'm going to say yes to that. Laura, you'll have to make sure you follow up with me via email, but I think yes. I want to review this webinar for my wife or partner, business partner. Will this be sent out or replay? Yes, I will send out the replay. For the basic program without a texting bot, how does the recruiting work? Potential caregivers still text start. If now, how does it work? So, Robert, for the basic program, we do not ask them to text start to anything. So they are simply filling out forms. That's a good question. They just fill out forms. No matter how we advertise, no matter how we reel them in, it's going to be your basic recruiting style that does not include texting. It's going to be one of those, things where they're filling out a very short form. We try to get all the qualifying questions in to the best of our ability, and then we forward them on to you. And it will be up to you to phone call and email, as you always have, to get them to come in for an interview. So the basic program will not have text start to 333-3333 in any of the ads, because obviously you're not part of that program. So we just do it the old-fashioned way, which is okay. I still think the reason people love the basic program on the front is because we're offloading all that front-end expense and that front-end time. And they like getting their spreadsheet with all their candidates on it every morning and letting their person who's in charge of recruiting go through and make those phone calls and send those emails. And they're satisfied with that. And if that works for you, we're happy to do it that way. How many inquiries do you get with the program per month? Okay, that depends on a whole lot of things, anonymous attendee. It could be, if you're in West Winnemucca, Nevada, you may only get, 50 in a month. If you live in near Philadelphia, you might get 150 a month. So it is a numbers game. So the more you get, the better off you are, because just like with trying to get leads for your home care agency or your senior service, it's truly a numbers game. You have to go through X amount of leads in order to get a new client. You have to go through X number of candidates to get that one golden nugget that's going to come in and actually accomplish and finish everything. So every single area is different. I can't tell you specifically how many inquiries you'll get, but I know it's more than 2. It's more than 10. We're talking probably in the 30 to 50 range on a low end, and in the hundreds on the high end. How many inquiries do you get per month for basic and enhanced? Okay, so the advertising is the same for basic and enhanced, the way we advertise. It's just that the communication system is different for basic and enhanced. So I would say that we may get more like texting back and forth, obviously on the enhanced program, get more immediate communication. But I think the inquiries or the people who are applying tend to be the same. It's just that you get people with the enhanced program, you get that communication started quick, you get them scheduled quick right there while they're hot and they're on it, and you're able to get them in the door faster, as opposed to waiting for them to answer a voicemail or waiting for them to answer their email that they check once a month or whatever. So the enhanced program makes things move a little faster. The basic program still offloads all that front end stuff. Is this available in Toronto, Canada? I'm still saying yes to Canada. Do you have statistics on how many applicants you get a week that actually show up to agency interview? That's a really good question too. I would say we didn't look at how many showed up for interview versus how many actual hires. Hired and working is the end game, right? So I would say the best results that we've seen are in less than 30 days, 5 hired and working. And that's a pretty, if you've been in this business long enough and you need that many candidates, that's a good number. It has to be. If you, on the lower end, we've seen people go, and it also depends on the number of candidates you get per month, because somebody who's only getting 30 to 50 candidates per month, it's going to take a lot longer for them to get people, that number of people who actually show up and are hired and working. But when you're in a major metro area, of course, you'll get 150, 200 candidates a month, and then you're at easily going with, if you had 40 people say they were scheduled, you'll have maybe, 25 or so show up. It just depends on where you are. It's a great statistic to have. What I really want statistically is based on the number of applicants or the number of inquiries, however you want to put that, how many hired and working can we get? What is that end game? What is that statistic? And that's what really matters. And the best I've seen is 5 and 30 days. Okay, thank you so much. You're welcome, Robert. We get about 30% of our good candidates from MyCNA jobs. Can we stop advertising except for MyCNA jobs if we wanted to try the enhanced program? Of course you can. I'm not sure where MyCNA jobs actually advertises, but what we definitely want to make sure we do is delineate between what we're doing versus what MyCNA jobs is doing for you. So the only time that could get, I don't know if you even get confusing, we can tag our ads, but you're probably going to have some overlap. But if you're okay with that, we'll have people that will respond to both, in other words. But if you're okay with that, yeah, absolutely. You can try the enhanced version and keep my CNA jobs? Sure. Does the enhanced program system function as an applicant tracking system? Can we use it to enter applicants that come to us from other sources, such as employee referral? Yes, you can, Roger. You can use it as an applicant tracking system. You have to remember, though, it's not going to ever compare, or like today, it doesn't compare to things like ClearCare Online or places like, or things like that where you have their social security number and their date of birth and all of their stuff in there. It's not a huge, robust applicant tracking system. But yes, absolutely. You can tag them, mark them, keep track of the dates that they applied, the dates that they came in, or the, whatever you want can be noted, can be tagged. But you're not going to have like a file on them in that system. Just remember that this is just a database to keep track of who's coming in, who responded to ads, and your return on investment, as well as being able to text back and forth. And it really started out just as a texting platform. And we've talked our friend Harry into making it more robust every single day so that it's more of an applicant tracking system and a texting platform. Can we provide old applicants that we did prior to joining the program so that we can include them in the download upload to reestablish communication that we have availability? Yes, you can, Hope. That's one of the things I talked about. Absolutely. And she says, because I have a pile of old applicants and I want to download them for future recruiting. Thanks. Yes, absolutely. You can do that. One of the things to remember with this texting system is that you want to just keep it to about 20 applicants per week. So one of the things that we've learned, or I've learned from Harry, is that you want to go deep and not wide. So what that means is that you want to text 20 people, follow up with 20 people, and if they don't answer or respond, or they don't show up or whatever, then the next week you text another 20 people. So you want to make sure that you are not losing track and people aren't falling through the cracks. So you can upload, let's say you upload 100 people to your system, and you have some ads running, so you have room for 100 more, then you can go back through and text those 100, but do it in small chunks. Don't try to bite off one bulk text to 100 people all at one time. Just do it in smaller chunks, and that way you're able to make sure you're following up. Nobody's falling through the cracks. And it's hard to text back and forth, even from this platform with 100 different people. So just make sure you bite off a little less and really take the time to know what's happening with those 20 people. But yes, absolutely, you can upload whoever you want. Will the monthly fee cover multiple positions, or is this by job description? Actually, no. Yes, the answer is yes, it will cover multiple positions. I tend to believe that RNs and professional staff are going to be okay with email and phone call. But you can use it for anybody. It totally doesn't matter. RNs, LPNs, CNAs, HHAs, you can use it for physical therapists, whatever you want. But I would guess that the professional degreed people are probably going to answer you by phone, and they're probably going to answer you by email a lot easier, better, and they're going to show up. So this is usable for anybody, but the reality is it's really trying to solve the problem of those HHA, CNA, caregiver folks who just will not communicate any other way, or they answer ads with no intention of showing up for a job interview. So that's kind of what it's kind of geared for. I think, if we have multiple locations, do you advertise per location? Let's see. So it depends on how close your locations are. So if you have an office on, let's say, the east coast of Florida and one on the west coast of Florida, you're going to want to have two different programs because we're running ads based on, or otherwise you're dividing your program efficiency in half. You're going to want to have a program for each office. But if they're like 10 miles from each other or 20 miles from each other, and they're basically covering the same, maybe a few different counties, but the same territory, then you can probably do one program for both of your offices. I know franchises are going to be a lot different from independent home care agencies and all kinds of other things. But I would recommend if you're 50 miles apart or more by offices, then you're going to want to have two different programs. If you're within a 20-mile radius of each other, your offices are, then you can probably do one. Hope that helps. And I think that is, let's see, there might be one more question. When someone responds, do those caregivers get directed to just us or to multiple companies? Oh no, they're yours and yours alone. We do not send the responses that come to you to anyone else. So you will only, it's exclusive with regard to what the caregiver responds to. If he or she is responding to your ad, they are your caregiver. If they are responding to somebody else's ad out there, then they're somebody else's caregiver. We don't share that information because they specifically, we have your logo, your information on those ads a lot of times, and they know who they're actually responding to. So they're going to be yours, not somebody else's. Which leads me to, this is awesome. I agree with you with the way candidates communicate these days. Your timing is perfect. I just tried to do texting method, but with applicants in the last 2 days, and they do respond faster than email, but it is time consuming going back and forth with texting and texting different people at the same time. I see how this program will enhance our recruiting efforts. Thank you for bringing us this program. How do you change it how do it change that you guys place ads versus us at the same sites? How do it change? Carla, I'm not sure I understand that. But you have to turn off all your advertising, except for maybe my CNA jobs, when we start advertising. So we don't want you to be advertising on, any other place, Facebook or anything, when we take it over, because that you'll have no idea where those candidates are coming from. Plus, you're paying us to do it, so there's no sense in you running ads and us running ads. When you place ads at a site, here's the clarification. When you place, meaning me, ads at a site, how's it any different than when we place ads? Well, Carla, we've been in the online marketing business for 10 years, and this is our specialty. And so we're really good at this. And we really know how to work that budget, baby. So there are lots of things that you guys get sucked into that we don't. Just because we know the system a little better. I don't know how else to explain it, but when people tell me that Indeed told them it would be $800 a month for them to get so-and-so thing or whatever, because they're a home care agency, Indeed is screwing you. So we just know the system, and we know how to represent ourselves so that we're not getting charged the way you might get charged. It doesn't mean that you don't know how to do it at all. It just means that we've been around the block a little longer on this stuff. That's all. Is the cost of video included in enhanced? The cost of video is included in both of those programs. So for both programs, whether you have texting or you don't have texting, we're still going to do a video ad for you, or two, and sometimes 3. It depends on how long you stay with us, because we got to freshen it up once in a while. So if you're with us for 6 months, you're going to have several different recruiting videos. They're all yours to keep. We use them in the ads, but remember, these are only 15-second videos. There is no such thing as an attention span anymore. So even in a 15-second video, a lot of the views are 3 seconds or less, believe it or not. So even if the person responds, they don't see the whole video a lot of times. It's just, we're really good at the whole video creation and call to action stuff. So when we do it for you, those videos become yours because they're branded to you. They have your information on it. They have your phone number. They have all your stuff. And so yes, it's all included. We do not charge you extra for videos. You only get, one video probably per month. So the longer you're with us, the more videos you get. We don't make a big deal about it, but certainly at the end of any program or whenever, you're welcome to take your videos. Okay? You mentioned the applicants can respond other ways besides a text. How do we get the results if they use other ways of communication? Well, Roger, what I mean by that is they can fill out a form, or they can reply to us by private message. There's a couple of different ways they can respond, but no matter how they respond or what form they fill out, we know where they came from, and we know that they belong to you, and we put them on a spreadsheet and we tag them so you know where they came from, whether it be Facebook or some other online advertising place, and we give that to you every single morning. So we can we aggregate, track, and manage all of that. That's why this is much more efficient for us to do it than for your poor folks to have to do it all the time. Okay, is it a generic ad, or can you do separate ads targeting specific groups like live-in, weekend shifts, certified? No, we just do generic ads. That's the truth for the videos. I'm assuming, well, maybe you're not talking videos. Let's talk about print ads, or not print, but text ads. Let's say you put an ad on Indeed, and you're only targeting CNAs and HHAs. That's fine, but you need a different ad for your RNs and LPNs. We can do that. So if you have RNs, LPNs, HHAs, CNAs, and there are different requirements for each of those groups, which I totally get, then yes, absolutely, we will have different ads. It's not necessarily regarding shift work, but definitely professional versus CNA, I guess, or I should say RN, LPN versus CNA, HHA. Those ads typically are different. Some organizations just lump it all together and say, here's what I need, and it works okay. But if you have specific needs, we'll talk about them first, and then we'll decide what the best course of action is based on your history and some of the responses you received in the past. So we're always interested to learn more about what you think works better, because if it ain't broke, we're not going to necessarily try to do it differently. So absolutely, we're totally malleable on how the ads are. Now for the videos that we create, those videos are basically just saying, hey, we have opportunities, and we're looking for you, and we're a great place to work. And so those are kind of more on the generic. You could use them for anybody, but they're all branded to you. Okay, hope that helps. I think we have used up our time today. I want to thank everybody for joining us and for being on our live call. So here is how you get a hold of us. And here's the webinar queen who forgot to put a QA screen up. Here's what I want you to do. In order to get a hold of us, you're going to call us at 888-404-1513. 888-404-1513. Ooh, what I'll do is I'll put our website up. Bing, ding. Oh, that doesn't work. Here, let's make this go. Escape. 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 Ooh, escape. There we go. Let's do this. Let's go to LTCsocialmark.com is our website. Ooh, I think I had it in the first slide. And our phone number is 888-404-1513. So this is our website. You can see up here, 888-404-1513. Or you can schedule a free consultation. You can fill out that form right there. You can email us. You can do whatever you like. But I'd say calling us or filling out our form, if you click on free consultation, you get a bunch of options. So Facebook programs, home care, ding, I need to recruit more caregivers. This one right here. You can put that in there, and we will have one of our staff, either be my partner, George Novison, or myself, or Bob Costello. One of us will call you back and talk to you, or we'll email you first and see what's a good time for you. We'll talk about it, and we'll send you over a contract. If you want to read more about this, if you go under services, caregiver recruiting beta program is right there. And also under case studies, if you click on case studies, you can see our recruiting case study right here. This was done in August, so it's been about a month since I put that up, but you're more than welcome to read that. So hope you all can join us, and if you need anything in the meantime, just give us a call or send me an email at valerie@ltcep.com. The best way to do it is just to fill out one of these forms on our website, and we'll get right back to you. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a great rest of your week and a good weekend. Bye-bye.